want to help others, honestly, truly, the best number one thing you can do is love yourself. And you will be that light for others. But you don't come back into yourself to be the light for others. You come back into yourself because that's what you're here to do. You're here to remember who you truly are. And by you remembering who you truly are, you're going to help others do the same naturally. Hi everyone, my name is Courtney. Welcome to the channel Connection and welcome to my podcast, Spiritual AF. Today I want to talk to you about a few things that are really important to me. So many of us are waking up not just to our intuition or our purpose, but that the belief systems we've had in place, even around spirituality and growth and healing, may be a little bit outdated. So here are some of the things that I've come to really know in my journey and have helped me feel lighter and feel closer to living from that person that I really want to be. And that's really what this is all about. If you have ever felt that you're doing it wrong, even when it comes to spirituality, this video is for you. Thank you for being here. So the first thing I want to talk about is healing. This is a big one. I spent a lot of my adult life thinking that I needed to focus on healing. I needed to focus on healing my heart. I needed to focus on healing my chakras. I needed to focus on healing my mental health. And it was a very important part of my process. But what I realized is if you keep focusing on what you think needs to be healed about yourself, you're kind of making the assumption that something is broken in the first place. It's not. There's nothing about you that needs to be fixed. And if you're constantly spending your time and your energy focusing on what you think is wrong and what energetic blocks you need to move through, you're not really living in the moment. You're not really living from a state of wholeness, of completeness, and that's who you really are. So once you start to really focus on how perfect you are, just as you are, that's ironically when true healing starts to happen and we stop looking at ourselves as something that needs to be fixed. You're not broken, nothing's wrong, nothing's ever been wrong, and there's nothing wrong with looking at where you are and desiring to be stronger and desiring to be more courageous, but it's not something that needs to be fixed. It's not something that needs to be healed within you. And so if you want to focus on evolving or ascending, focus on your completeness, focus on your wholeness, focus on connecting inside of you to who you really are, your love, your joy, your connection. That's what I found to be a much, much better approach to ascension or to evolution or to spiritual growth. There's nothing about you that needs healed. You are already perfect and whole. And the more you can see yourself that way, the more content and at peace you're going to be with yourself. So that's number one. Healing does not mean fixing what's broken. You're not a project. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a gift. Start seeing it that way and your whole life is going to change. And you don't always need to be looking for these huge breakthroughs or emotional releases. Sometimes these moments are just a softening into what is, and allowing and an accepting for who you truly are. To me, that approach has been so much more healing, so much more loving, and so much more in alignment with what I feel to be true. So if that resonates with you, let me know in the comments. All right, number two, this whole mentality we have as a culture about working hard has made its way into the world of spirituality, thinking that you have to work really hard or be super, super diligent to stay high vibe all the time. I hate this. It's not about working harder. It's not about being hyper vigilant. You want to let go of control. You want to let go of that need to be perfect because you already are, right? As we addressed in the first point. And it's more about a softening. It's more about allowing. You're going to ascend so much faster and your journey is going to be so much smoother if you're focusing on relaxation rather than trying to work hard and meditate more and do all the breathing practices and this, that, and the other thing that's making you more uptight. So softening, relaxing, allowing, these are the things we want to be focusing on, not working hard, especially not when it comes to our spiritual growth and our evolution. Choosing joy without pressure, befriending your nervous system, these are all things we want to be focusing on because your frequency rises when you feel safe to be seen, safe to know yourself, safe to be real. And what we call blocks are often just parts of ourselves that need more compassion, not something we need to bulldoze or work hard to overcome. Status quo number three. This one may not be talked about, but it is something that is very, very ingrained into a lot of us, at least a lot of us Americans. You need to figure everything out in order to move forward. It's this weird attachment we have that I can only get here if I do this first. If I get this, then I can do that. If I get through this project, then I can be happy. Nothing about figuring anything out is going to make you feel more at peace or more at ease. And in fact, planning too far ahead into your future might make you feel rigid because things are going to flow and evolve. You have multiple pieces in the air that you don't have any control over. So you become inflexible if you get attached to needing to figure out your next step. Sometimes just knowing the next best step is what's going to reveal the step after that. So you can't always know. You can't always try to figure out your best plan of action. Just what do you feel inspired to do right now, trusting that the clarity is going to come with that and your next best step is going to open up from there. You do not need to figure everything out all at once. And if you try to, you're going to find yourself running around in circles, feeling really, really uptight and uncomfortable. Just one step at a time. Clarity follows action, not the other way around. Here's another one that's really, really important to me and that confused me for a really long period of time. Spirituality does not mean bypassing your humanity. Your emotions are not bad. Your desires are not bad. In the world of spirituality, desire has long been looked at as this taboo thing that you need to cut off from in order to grow and evolve. And maybe that was true 100, 500, 1,000 years ago. Today, at least to me, it feels like it's not. Your emotions are part of what you wanted when you chose this human experience, and you have the full range of them. And of course, you don't want to let them guide your life or be thrown around by your emotions, but trying to suppress them, cut yourself off from them, not feel them is crazy because you're here having a human experience with a human body, and that comes with emotions. And pretending that it doesn't, or pretending that you're above them, or pretending that you don't need them, you're cutting yourself off from a really important and beautiful aspect of being alive. So you didn't come to Earth to escape your emotions. They're a part of your path. Your human self isn't in the way of your divine self. It is your way. Spiritual growth should teach you to be with your feelings, not erase them or pretend that you don't have them. Your rage, your joy, your grief, all of it gets to be sacred. So don't think you have to bypass your humanity in order to be a spiritual person or in order to ascend. All of that can be a part of your growth and a beautiful part of your experience of being here. Here's another one that really held me up for a long time. I thought if I was a spiritual person, if I was going to be into growth and especially into channeling, I was going to start to hear these booming voices from above. And I was really disappointed because spirit wants us to have our own experience and never wants to take away from our free will. That's why they're not yelling in your ear what direction you should go in or what decision you can make. It's up to you what you want to do, and only you know the best step. Only you know what you need, what your body needs, what your mind needs, what your spirit needs. There's going to be no spiritual intervention that's going to take away from you exactly what you choose to experience. You know what you need, and this idea that you're going to get in touch with the spirit world and it's going to start telling you what to do and where to go is kind of crazy, because you also didn't want that when you chose this human experience. You wanted to choose, you wanted to feel, you wanted to be here. So when you start to tap into your spirit guides and tap into channeling, or however you embrace mediumship or otherworldly things, remember that spirit is not going to yell at you. They're going to whisper. They're going to usher you gently. They're going to show you these signs and these synchronicities that are going to be awesomely beautiful and reach your heart in powerful, powerful ways. But it's not going to be that booming voice from the sky. It's not going to be spirit yelling over your shoulder, or at least that's not been my personal experience. That intuitive guidance, that's your intuitive guidance, you're guiding yourself. It's often quiet, it's often soft, it's often kind. It's going to make you feel loved, it's going to make you feel expansive. Those are the kind of feelings you're looking for, not these otherworldly psychedelic visions. Or maybe that's part of your experience and maybe you're longing to have that part of experience, and that's fine. But if you're looking for these big booming voices from the sky, it's really all you. Spiritual guidance is quiet. Your higher self voice is soft. It's kind, it's loving, it's warming. Those are the things that you might miss if you're looking for something big. So look for the small stuff. Look for the signs. Look for the synchronicities. Spirit is always guiding you. But again, they're never going to get in your way because they want you to have this experience, and you wanted you to have this experience of free will. And that's part of the awesomeness of being alive and in this human body. This last one is the most important to me. And if you're still watching, thank you so much. I'd love to hear what you feel about this, because I spent most of my adult life believing the opposite of this was true. And it created a lot of internal confusion and suffering. So when I heard and felt that the opposite is true, my whole world opened up. Here it is. You're not here to save a broken world. The people who are waking up are not here to drag everyone else towards their own awakening and towards this finish line of the new earth. The new earth is what you choose it to be by how you perceive your current experience. Your experience of love, it does certainly affect everyone around you because of how connected we are. But if you're walking around saying, I'm awake and I want to take you all with me into this place of lightness and growth and whatever, you're forcing and efforting, and you're making the natural assumption that these people are not on a perfectly designed and guided path themselves. They do not need your saving. They do not need your help. Everyone is on their own journey, and you need to trust and respect that everyone is on their own journey. And if you want to be of service, and of course being of service and wanting to help other people is a beautiful, beautiful thing, the best thing you can do is take care of yourself first. The best thing you can do is to raise your frequency, your vibration, your level of consciousness, so that people just feel more themselves when they're around you. I lived a lot of my life in the opposite way, and I don't feel great about that, but that's another part about being human, is we spend chunks of our lives believing or following certain things that feel right to us at the time, and then we're allowed to change them. We're allowed to grow. We're allowed to evolve. That's actually what we're all here to do, right? And this video is mainly about your spiritual growth, your spiritual evolution. So also, you can forgive yourself for the way that you used to believe, and keep checking in with yourself. What feels true? What feels real for you now? What feels in alignment for you now? And so if you want to help others, honestly, truly, the best number one thing you can do is love yourself. Bring your energy, bring your power back into yourself, and you will be that light for others. But you don't come back into yourself to be the light for others. You come back into yourself because that's what you're here to do. You're here to remember who you truly are. And by you remembering who you truly are, you're going to help others do the same naturally. So that's a lot. I hope it was helpful. And I'm so curious about you. What kind of spiritual things have you believed in the past or known to be true, and then now you feel a little bit differently? Are there any of these things that I talked about, do you agree with, or do they resonate, or do you disagree? Because I'd love to hear your opinions about those things too. Either way, thank you so much for watching. My name is Courtney. Please like, subscribe, join my newsletter in the video description, and I will see you next time.